Alright guys, today we are going to check out the 2024 St. Louis Supercross track. This track was a little bit tricky, kind of tough to make, just because it goes across the start straight so many different ways. So it just a little bit tricky, more difficult than I thought it was going to be when I first started doing it, but it came out pretty good in my opinion. This is also a Triple Crown race, I do believe, if you enjoy that format. And so yeah, we're going to get a first-person track walk like we normally do, and then go over the race and talk about what happened, because it was a crazy night of racing. So let's just jump into it and check out the 2024 St. Louis Supercross. Okay, so we've got the 2024 St. Louis Supercross track here to check out. We have a track walk. We're going to hit the first turn, then we go double, step on, step off, triple. That rhythm section has a few different ways through it, and then there should be a jumping back onto the start straight to cross it, but I didn't have enough room, so I didn't put it in there. We hit the Supercross triple, go down the start the wrong way, hit the corner, and then we hit the finish line double and a table. Now that table appears to be like kind of a step up, a double table type of thing, but I didn't have room, so I put a table in, cut across the start straight again, jump across the start straight with a single, hit a 180, go across the start straight one more time into two rollers, and then what appeared to be a triple into a Supercross triple, and then we hit the 180 here, and this is the big rhythm section. I decided to go triple on, step off, triple, triple, single. Now, I really do feel like they could throw down a quad. I did have a quad there at one time, but it just didn't feel right, and it never really worked the way I wanted it to. Now, this rhythm section has a couple ways through it. This time we triple over the table, triple, single. You can't really quad, and it wasn't really made to be taken that way. But there is one more way I will show you with Chase Sexton a little bit later, and I feel like that probably is the best way to do it, which you'll see coming up. So, Cooper Webb, he got the win. He got the win at Seattle. He is such a gritty rider. He can will himself to wins. Webb got the win over Chase Sexton. And I'm going to say this with Webb, and then we'll talk about it a bit different with Sexton. But Webb, in my opinion, was definitely the faster rider between him and Sexton in the first part of that race. Maybe the first half, I'm not sure. But the second half, he definitely got tired. He said he pumped up, his arms got pumped, and he was still able to ride that track, as rough and nasty and ruddy as it was. I mean, Webb, a bunch of the guys said that track was maybe the nastiest one this year, just as far as ruts go and whatnot, because it was so soft. But it wasn't a mud race. They did get quite a bit of rain, it appeared to be, but it wasn't a mud race. But Webb was jumping the wall out of the sand. Jet was doing it. I believe Tomac and Roxon for sure tried. I don't know if they ended up doing it in the main, but yeah, Webb looked great and didn't even get the best start. But like I said, he was making moves and making passes, and for sure was, out of the two between him and Sexton, the faster rider in the first part of that race. And then we switch over to Sexton. Sexton got second. He led a good part of that race, but he had some bike issues, and Webb just had a charge. You know, at the first part of that race, Webb had such a good charge going, caught back up to him, and then Sexton stalled the bike, which he did do in the heat race as well. I don't know if it was a bike issue or if it was Sexton just as a rider stalling the bike out, but Webb got by there. Sexton did get him back, but then Webb was able to pass him back one more time, and then Webb was able to keep him behind him the rest of the race. So Sexton looked great, and in my opinion, he was the faster rider on the second half of that race. And in my opinion, he wasn't jumping the sand wall, but as the race went on, that sand wall, jumping the wall out of the sand kind of went away, and then Sexton had a really good line aside from jumping the wall. So he didn't appear to get tired either. I mean, he didn't seem to be getting tired, and just never really fell off the pace. So yeah, Sexton was the faster rider, and it went down to the final corner right before the finish line. Webb went inside, Sexton went outside, but Sexton wasn't able to get it done. He said in the post-race interview, he said Webb's too smart of a rider for that, and he had a plan, but it didn't really work because of how Webb rode the track. So Sexton looked maybe the best he has this year during Supercross, appeared to be really comfortable. I mean, if it wouldn't have been for stalling the bike, he probably would have a heat race win and maybe a main event win too. So if I'm Sexton, yeah, I mean, you're the champ, so probably anything less than the win is a bummer, but here we hit the triple quad double. I don't know if it'll do that, but that's the third way through that rhythm section. But anything less than a win to Sexton is probably a bit of a disappointment, but considering the way the season's been going for him, I would consider that a win. I would consider that a very good showing, and he did really, really good. It was cool to see Sexton ride well. So Jet Lawrence here, he got third. Now, Jet was, I believe, the fastest qualifier during the day, and he won his heat race, and he was the fastest rider in the main event. But he made a decision to try to make a pass on Webb early, or pretty early in the sand section. The two lines came together. He hit Webb. Webb didn't budge. Webb is just solid as a rock, and Jet went down. He put in a couple really fast laps after that, kind of caught back up to him, and it felt like, okay, Jet's gonna maybe win this race yet. But then he got stuck behind Ryan Brees, I believe, in a rut on the wall jump, or the wall, and that was kind of the end of it. So you could tell he backed off and said to himself, okay, tonight's not my night. I'll take third place. I have a decent points lead, and just give up a few points to Cooper Webb, which I do believe, well, he gave up 5, but I do believe Webb is now 16 points back, so it's close, but we're running out of races, and Jet being Jet, it just feels like he's probably going to win the title this year, but you never know. Anything can happen, but if he continues the way he has been, it's going to be tough. And the crazy thing about Jet is, okay, so he went down with Webb, and then he got stuck behind a lapper on the wall. And you would say things aren't going his way. He had a bad night. He still ended up third place and was the fastest guy on the track. That is the crazy thing about Jet. He just has this, he has like one more gear of speed that nobody else has that he can use if he needs to. Like he can tap into that extra speed or whatever that nobody else has or can do. But a bad night for Jet is third place. That is scary. That is scary how good he really is. I mean, just unbelievable. He is an unbelievably, incredibly talented rider. I mean, it's just incredible. But yeah, Jet has a 16-point lead over Cooper Webb. And then I want to talk about Hunter a bit here. So Hunter, I believe, got 7th place in the main, which was pretty good, but he did win his heat race. I'm actually a really, really, really big fan of Hunter. I wasn't not a fan of him before, but throughout this season, I don't know, I've really turned into a Hunter Lawrence fan and really want to see him do well. So it was cool to see him get that heat race win. Yes, he probably wouldn't have if Sexton wouldn't have stalled the bike, but I don't care. He was in the right place at the right time. He missed a race. He's riding kind of injured. He also is a 450 rookie. Really awesome to see Hunter get the heat race win and a 7th place. And then AP, I believe, got 4th, and it was a very quiet 4th because he, there was so much excitement up front. They didn't really show it, but he got 4th, Roxon got 5th, and then Tomac got 6th, and then Hunter got 7th. So Hunter had a really good night. I do want to see him get a win. It probably won't happen this year, but I really want to see him get one in the future. And then switching over to Tomac. Tomac didn't get a great start again and ended up in 6th place. So I do believe, I'm still going to say it until the end of the season, I do believe Tomac can get the win, but he's got to get a start. His starts are so bad lately. I mean, if he wants to win, he's going to have to get a start, a pretty good start. Maybe not a whole shot, but a pretty good start. But yeah, I'm sure it was another disappointing night for Tomac. I mean, 6th place is still really good in this deep of a field, but he expects to win, and it was just a bit unfortunate for him. So yeah, Tomac didn't have the best night. Kitchen won in dominating fashion for the 250s. RJ Hampshire got 2nd, and then Shimoda got 3rd Smith went down. He's basically out of the championship now. But, man, Levi Kitchen, whoa, he was cooking. He was cooking in the heat. He was cooking in the main. He looks almost unbeatable. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd be really curious to see. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.